Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game, and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
I know most of you know, y'all saw the scope yesterday. We just got done with TEDx Coconut Grove yesterday. My talk was on confidence. And one of the main things that everybody needs to know, as y'all can see in the title of the scope, and I was talking about in my talk last night, is that you don't owe other people. One of the main things that I talked about in my video about getting rid of excuses. I did a scope on getting rid of excuses probably about a week ago, 7 to 10 days ago. I did a podcast episode on it too. So y'all see that next week on my podcast. That's the Athlete on Fire podcast. Just look for the episode that says Dre All Day. One of the main things I talked about in getting rid of excuses in life is that stop thinking that you owe other people explanations. You don't owe another person an explanation for what you did or what you didn't do, what you're gonna do, or how well or how much, how little or how not well you did anything. You don't owe other people explanations. The only person that you got to prove something to is yourself in life. You don't owe anybody else results. If anybody else is coming to you as if you owe them results, it's probably because they're not holding themselves accountable for anything, so they putting their attention on you so that they got something to look at. If people are holding themselves accountable for their own results in life, they won't care about yours. And understand that the number one thing every human being is focused on is themselves. And when you see somebody focused on yours, it's just because they ain't got the heart to say to themselves the same things they saying to you, or put the same expectations on themselves that they putting on you. And in life, there's only two places you could be. You could either be on the court or the field or on the pitch or in the pool, wherever, or in the track, or you could be in the stands. The stands is the same in every sport. I don't care if it's swimming, if it's track, if it's football, basketball, baseball. The stands is the same. You pay to go watch the people who's on the field. The majority of the people are in the stands. There's a few people on the field. You got to decide. You got to decide for your life. Are you going to be a person that's in the stands, or are you going to be a person that's in the game? And when you in the game, you ain't got to prove shit to nobody that's in the stands. The people in the stands are in the stands for a reason. The people on the court or on the field, they on the field for a reason. It's not your job to please them. It's not your job to satisfy them. It's not your job to show them something. I don't know how many of y'all play ball, but when I play ball, especially pickup ball growing up, somebody in the crowd be like, oh, show me something. I heard you was this. I heard you did that. Show me something. I'm looking at them like, man, who the fuck is you? I'm already showing you something. The fact that I'm on the court and that you on the sideline, that should be showing you enough. That you show me something, get your ass out the audience. And it's the same thing for the rest of life, ladies and gentlemen. Life and sports parallel each other. You're either out there on the court doing something, being the person that's talked about, or you in the stands talking. And the people that's doing stuff are the people that do things to get a talk or something to talk about. So you ask yourself every moment of your life, which one are you doing at that moment? Are you the one doing something that's going to get talked about, that's getting watched and talked about, or are you the one talking about somebody else who's getting something done? And if you find yourself on the wrong end of that, you can change it just that quickly. Stop talking about what other people are doing, unless that's your job description. Unless you're a sports reporter, a journalist, a talking head on ESPN. If that's your job, do it. But other than that, unless you work there, don't talk about what anybody else is doing. Don't talk about what somebody else has to prove or what somebody else got to get done. It's all about what you got to get done. And the more you get done, the more you produce, the more you'll have other people consuming what you're doing, even if you start off not good. Understand that you don't have to be great at what you're doing to start producing. And producing means doing things that get talked about. You don't have to be great to start out, but of course, I know the cliche, you got to start out to be great. Most people don't start out because they're so afraid of what the people in the stands are going to say, because they feel like they got to prove shit to people in the stands. So as soon as you get that thought out of your head that you have to prove something to somebody, then you're not worried about the fear of the criticism that will come from the people analyzing the game from the audience. Fear of criticism is the second biggest fear known to man. Any of y'all know what the number one fear is? Anybody here know what the number one fear is in life other than criticism? Criticism is the second most debilitating fear. This is according to Napoleon Hill. So if any of y'all read Think and Grow Rich, y'all know what the biggest fear is? No, not fear itself. No, not failure. Not public speaking. Again, this is according to Napoleon Hill. No, not death. Death, I think, is the third one. Rejection, no. Rejection and criticism kind of the same thing. Your own fears, no. None of y'all know? All right, y'all got to brush up on your Think and Grow Rich. I know a lot of y'all read that book. The number one fear is the fear of poverty. Fear of not having enough resources to take care of your basic needs. That's the number one fear of poverty. Second biggest fear is the fear of criticism. Then you got the fear of death, the fear of loss of love, fear of old age, and the fear of, there's one more thing. There's one more, I can't even think of it. Fear of ill health, I said. But the number one fear is the fear of poverty. Number two is the fear of criticism. Now, public speaking fear kind of came out later. Yeah, debt, fear of debt. The public speaking thing came later when we became more, more industrialized as a country. But anyway, the point of all this is, ladies and gentlemen, stop thinking that you got to prove something to anybody. Because whenever you're thinking that you have to prove something to somebody else, that's when you start stopping yourself, right? How many of you have ever stopped yourself from doing something because you start thinking of, what will people think of me, say about me, say to me, do if I do this, if I take this action, if I say this, or if I go work on this idea, or if I go play this sport, or if I go try to make this work? What is somebody going to say about me? I'm sure all of us have had situations in our lives where we at least thought about it. What are they going to say if I do this? What are people going to think of me if I do this? Maybe people might not want to be cool with me no more. Maybe somebody will laugh at me. And a lot of times people try things, they get something said to them, they get something done to them, they get people laughing at them, they get ridicule, they get criticism, they get negativity, and then they don't want to do anything anymore. Then they stop themselves from doing what they want to do, basically stopping themselves from being great. Because we all know the cliche. You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. So if you start and people criticize you, and then you stop, then you just stop yourself from being great. Because the only way you can be great at anything is to start doing it. You can't just be great. Well, you can't be great at anything if you never started doing it. So if you stop as soon as you hear that criticism, then you'll never get anywhere in life. All the greatest achievements in life for anyone comes when you take initiative. That means you take action and do something without being prompted, without somebody telling you to do it, without you needing instruction, without you having to see somebody else do it first. That's when all the great things happen. If you think about all the great inventions, the great websites, the great products, the great services, the great ideas that we have in life, you look at everyone that you use on a daily basis that's a great idea. It was started by somebody who went out and did it without waiting for somebody else to tell them to do it. Most of them. 95% of them was somebody who said, let me try this thing. I don't know if this is going to work, but the only way we'll know if it works is if I try it out. And they went through the criticism, they went through the negativity, they might still be going through it now, but they got it done. And as a result, they became, the product, the service, the household name, whatever it is they became in life. And that's the same thing with you. You don't have to prove shit to anybody. Nobody, not your parents, not your kids, not your teachers, not your coach, not your boss, not your co-workers, not nobody on the internet, especially nobody on the internet, please. Not nobody in your family, not none of your friends, not no random person who says something to you. Only to yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You are your only judge. When you look in the mirror in the morning, you look in the mirror at night, when you laying in bed at night, alone in your thoughts, the only person you got to prove everything to is yourself. Because the best version of you is the only thing you compete against. You can't compete against what nobody else can do, what nobody else said, not a bar that somebody else set for you arbitrarily. It's only what you can do for yourself. And those of you who don't know me, my name's Dre All Day. I come from Philly, live in South Florida. I'm a professional speaker, entrepreneur, salesperson, coach, consultant, background professional athlete. If you want to check out my programs, I think I changed the link right there to my people skills program. That's the link in my bio right now, but you can read my first book, Buy a Game. It's free. Just go to dreallday.com, which is my website. Actually, just click that link in my bio. You'll see the pop-up come up. Put in your email address to send you my first book for free. I've written 7 books. If you go to dreallday.com/Amazon or /iBooks, you can see the books that I got right now available to all of y'all. And if you're watching me for the first time, welcome. Work on your games, the name of the brand, name of the business, and Dre All Day too. So make sure y'all follow me because I do these scopes all the time. Work on your game, Dre All Day. Oh yeah, catch me on Snapchat. If you're on Snapchat, I'll be snapping. I snap all day. So to go to my Snapchat, that's at Dre Baldwin. Snapchat Dre Baldwin. I'm going to holler at y'all. Work on your game. Make sure you get my first book, Buy a Game. It is free. Click the link right here below in the video description. I'm on all your favorite social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. All the links are right down here below. Is either Dre Baldwin or Dre All Day on each one of those sites. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down there and the thumbs up like button. Subscribe so you catch all the new content. Work on your game. Dre All Day.